You might have 6 months of dog training experience, or you might have 16 years of dog training experience. So how can I help whoever is listening right now maximize the next year of your dog training experience? These are the things that I came up with. Number one is a willingness to step outside of your comfort zone. And what that means is, it might be a little scary, leaving what you know how to do and trying something new. And when you do, guess what? There's a very high probability you're going to be awkward, that you actually might fail. You've got to embrace that idea. You've got to let go of the idea of perfection because, hello, we're dealing with another animal, a dog. So perfection is not attainable. And therefore, we're all going to make mistakes along the way. It's got to be okay. That's a big part of being growth-minded, is that there is no shame. There's no burden of guilt. Our dogs forgive us. We need to forgive ourselves. Be willing to make that mistake and move on. So, number one, be willing to step outside your comfort zone. Number two, be curious. Be curious about, well, I know how I did this before. Wonder what it's going to be like if I do it a completely different way. Number three, be present. Be present to the lessons that your dog is sharing with you. Imagine that dog training is like you're making a recipe. You are cooking up a recipe and you're serving it to somebody, a friend. Hey, can you try this for me? And they go, ooh, you got a little too much nutmeg in that. So when we're training, we are putting together a recipe, aka a training plan. We are trying it with our dog. Now, remember, people that don't change, they're still stuck in the 1950s way of dog training where we train at them. We do things to them. That's not what we do. We train together. And so we present something to the dog and we accept their feedback. If they say there's too much nutmeg, we accept it and we change our responses. So how can our dogs tell us feedback on what we're presenting? Their behavior, their responses, and their overall feeling about the training. Are they ignoring you? Are they going off sniffing? Are they joyful? Are they engaged? Are they learning and progressing? That's feedback. So instead of saying, oh, that dog is so stupid, or it's a terrier, or can you believe this stuff? Or I've been training this dog for like months and look at where he's stuck. We've got to be willing to recognize that dog's here to help us, that dog's here to help us elevate our game, to become better at what we're doing. So accept the feedback. What's too much nutmeg from the dog's perspective? You know what? You're putting a little too much pressure on me. You know what? You did not give me reinforcement for the right thing in the last few weeks when we were practicing this. So accept that feedback. Number four, work from a plan. When you're going to train your dog, have a written plan. Now, if you're one of our online students, we're giving you those written plans, but you need to watch the video, read the plan, and execute on it the way that we have drawn it up for you. We've had thousands and thousands of our students go through our programs. We know these things will be successful. Now, am I saying that everything is cookie cutter for dogs? No. You might have to, if you've got a really high border collie, you might have to dial down some of the joy, maybe give them more food and less high drive action tug, depending on what you're teaching. Likewise, if you have a dog who's a little bit more reserved and we need to dial up the joy, then you're going to add more animation to your training. So the philosophy doesn't change. The plan doesn't change. Just because I'm training a different dog or a different breed of dogs, what changes is my application of that plan. But you need a plan to start. Number five, video your training and review your training. Number six, grab your journal and take notes. And your notes are going to be about the success of your training, but also, how are you feeling about what went on? I feel great. It was an amazing session. I feel like, so energized. How do you believe your dog feels? TEMP. They're going to tell you, they're giving you that feedback. Are they turning away and saying, is it over yet? Or are they wagging their tail going, is there more? Remember, we're always going to quit before the dog wants to. But write that down in the journal because that's the only way we're going to be able to move the needle on the dog's level of joy is by writing it down, taking note, and saying, okay, next time out, I'll do better at that. And finally, recognize you are perfect. You are amazing because you're curious. You're doing things for your dog. You are absolutely brilliant. You don't have to be better than you are today. You just have to be curious to see if you can experiment and if there's places that you can grow. Big growth means you are becoming an expert, not just somebody who's repeating their first year of dog training experience over and over and over again. Does this make sense to you? As a habit, become one of those people that are deliberate and purposeful in their practice in order to earn growth mindset experience. And help me come up with a new phrase for that. It's not all experience, right?